Guys, that piece of video that was set to music was actually from my trip last year, but same trip, just the scenery and the way they set it to music on my phone. Apple did it, iPhone did it or something. I just had to include it because it belonged in the same trip. Give you a couple more views of some of the sights that I see on the way from Arizona up to Wyoming. It's just gorgeous, especially when you get to the northern part of Arizona, and the southern part of Utah is just, the landscape is like the moon. You get all the red rocks and big canyons and things. Then as you get up into Provo, Utah, you get those snowy mountain scenes. And then on your way over to Wyoming, it's a little bit flat. There is some mountains, but gets a little flatter. And then as we approached Wyoming today, like we did, I showed you how the mountains just come back out of the ground. And it's one of my favorite trips. I mean, it's not boring. So for 3.5 days, it just get you going and stuff, ready for hiking season and things to come. So that's why I wanted to include that little short video. Okay, bye. Tuesday, about 11 a.m., southern Utah, right near Bryce Canyon National Park, and I'm just going up 89, and there's this nice little rest stop here. It was pretty quaint. Nice scenery though, out of the desert. Welcome to Provo, Utah, just outside of Provo. Stay here at a Walmart for tonight. Second night out on the road. Beautiful mountain view though. Pretty cool. So I just got off of I-80, heading up to Star Valley. This phone doesn't do it justice, but very, very far off in the distance you see snow-capped mountains off to the left there, and that's the valley. So it doesn't look like much now, but these mountains just start climbing out of the ground here as I get 50 to 100 miles up the road here. But I'll be there in a couple hours. You're going to see some mountains now. Off to the left, they'll get much more mountainous in the next half hour or so. So getting closer. Start to see mountains with snow caps. That's all one off in the distance to the left of the road is Wyoming Peak. It's the tallest mountain in the Wyoming range. Shannon and I summited to the top of there. It was quite a hike. Very nice views up there. Okay, here's where we're coming into the valley, so we're climbing up and over Salt Creek Pass, and once we're up at the top of this pass, it's like 12,000 feet or so, we'll start heading down into Star Valley and then into our home. So this is where I start getting pretty excited because the mountains are calling and I must go. Okay, pretty windy up here, but we're at the top of Salt Lake and made it up there. There's a sign over there. There's Wyoming Peak again, a little bit closer. And if you had a telephoto lens, you could see there's a fire tower, an old fire tower at the top of there. And we climbed to the top of that. Probably, I think it was about two summers ago. So that was quite a summit there. There's snow all year round up on that one. Okay, we're in the valley now. Looks the same, nothing's changed. By the way, if you want a good workout, try doing that pass on a bike, up and over, and then turn around and come back up and over. I've done it a couple times, and it's a really good workout. It only takes maybe a little over an hour. It's not that bad. It climbs pretty quickly, and but nothing major, but very scenic. It's just a good all-around workout. So I'll video as I get closer to the property. So this is Thane, Wyoming. This is the town where I work in the hardware store. It's about a block off this main street right here. So just going through there. And then when we get out of this town, we'll be driving on the open road for about 10 miles, and then we get to our place. And we live in Etna, which is the next town down. That we see that eventually from our front porch we'll be able to have a good view of those mountains. Mountains right there are actually in Idaho, so that's how close to the border of Idaho we are. Okay guys, we're coming up on Etna. It's going to be down a little ways here, but we make a right before we get to the town, and we go up this main road, Chokecherry, and that brings us up to our little property. So we'll be turning here shortly. Next right. Right up there. Straight up to the mountain now. fresh layer of stone down already. It gets pretty rutted by the end of summer, and it's pretty bumpy here. They'll treat it with this chemical that they put on here so that it always looks kind of wet, and it keeps the dust down and keeps it from getting more and more rutted out. It's actually an exact 1 mile from the main road up this road to our place where we make the left. Lots of hay fields around here. That's what all this is pretty much. Hay and alfalfa. They just grow to feed their horses. Lots of horses here in the valley. Tons of horse property. These dogs like to run out after your car. And we're going to make a left right here. Kind of go slow or all the dishes and everything spill all over the place. So, and this is actually an easement road. It's a farm road, lots of tractors and stuff just going up and down here during the season. Eventually it'll be widened and turned into a regular road, so that's why we felt it was okay to put our driveway on this side of our property, and it just makes it more convenient for us. So now we're going to see whether I can fit in the driveway. Looks pretty dry though, and I think I don't even have to unhook the car this time. So what I'm going to do, I'll be right back. I'm just got to open the gates right there. There's our gate. Okay, now it's about 4 hours later. And I did have to unhook the Fiat. There it is. And there's the RV parked right up against the side of the garage. And thanks to my friend Mike Flannery for coming by and helping me get it up so nice and tight up against the barn. That gives us a nice little patio set on the other side there. So we're here. I opened up the barn, unpacked the RV, put everything in, electric's on, plumbing is in, sewer is in. So we're good, and just come over here and show you. It's supposed to get rain the next 4 or 5 days, so it is clouding up. There's Lefty on guard. He guards the property for us. That's our little deck that I moved out. We built that last year. We're going to expand on this a little bit, but right now our dirt and hasn't come back yet. That's where we had to dig to put in our septic line, and as you can see that impression in the ground, that eventually will go to the septic and tie it into the house back up there. So that's why that is sticking out of the ground right now. And then that blue line's coming out of the ground, that's our septic buried there. And then our leach field is beyond that. So it's actually a nice system because we're on an angle going downhill, so everything's flowing that way, and the leach field and stuff will disperse of it into this hay field that we have here. And as you can see, the sun is starting to go behind those clouds. We're supposed to be about 4 days of kind of off again, on again rain, so it's actually getting cooler. It was actually up to about 80 this afternoon when I got here and unhooked, but that's our little fire pit we built last year. So that's where we're at. Hope maybe I'll put out a video of us getting together, the stuff for the house. The house is basically back where that earth has moved back in there, so you'll see plenty of that this summer as that goes up. All right. Oh, and by the way, our lumber is right in the barn there. See it piled up, plywood, tons of plywood, beams, and I'm getting another load on June 2nd. So that's where we're at.